Welcome to Spreadsheet Tips on Rounding. Rounding is something that comes in very useful, I think, if you're dealing with any type of payroll files. A lot of times in payroll, you might get some fractions of cents, and you're going to want to round those to 2 decimal places. For example, you wouldn't, and this is an entire department's budget, but you wouldn't pay out $25,125 and 0.36754, you'd pay out 37 cents. So we're going to use rounding today to take a look at how we can use that function to go ahead and round off those trailing cents for us. And it's pretty simple, so we're going to go ahead and just say, take our number and say equals, and we could type this in or we could go to our formulas. This one, let's just go ahead and type it in first, and we'll just say round. And then here's our data. And if we want to round to just 2 decimal places, we have to say comma 2 to let the round formula know what you're expecting it to do. So let's go ahead and say enter. And then you can see that it rounded the number to just 2 decimal places. Okay. Now you can also do that if you have a formula in a cell. So here we've got 3. We only want 2. So it doesn't matter that a formula is in there. We can still say equals round and then just encompass the formula, put a comma in there, and put our 2 decimal places in there and say enter. Okay, and that works just the same whether you have a formula or if it's just a number. You know, another thing I wanted to show you is that this particular spreadsheet we've got set up as like the payroll budget. When it comes to budgeting, a lot of times we're not dealing with cents. Budgeting is more big picture, and we're going to want to round to either the nearest hundredth or thousandth. You know, we aren't really hung up on cents at that point. So we can use the same function and go ahead and round to the nearest hundredth. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll say equals round. Now, you notice that when I was telling it to round on the right-hand side of the decimal point, I put in a positive 2. So now I want it to be rounding left of the decimal point, and I want it to round, let's just say, to the hundredths. So if I'm going to go to the left of the decimal point by the hundredth, I'm going there 2 places, and it was positive on the right side, so I'm going to put in a negative 2, okay? And you can see that it rounded to the nearest hundredth. So what if I don't even want to get that granular and I just want to round to the nearest thousandth? I'd put in a negative 3. Now I'm rounding to the nearest thousandth. And that's, you know, in budgeting, that's what I did. We didn't mess around with the smaller change, and we would just go to the nearest thousandths. And I use this round function all the time in my budgeting spreadsheet. So let's just take a look and see if we can go ahead and insert a formula. Say insert function, and go to our financial and scroll down here. And it looks like it's not under financial. Let's look under all. Here's our round. So we could go to insert function as well and use our round that route. Go ahead and click our number and our number of digits. Okay, so you could manually type it out, or you could go ahead and go through that formula tab to find that function. Okay, and we're just going to escape out of that. So hopefully you'll use this in your future spreadsheets. I know I sure did. And thank you for joining me today.